Famous for its well-preserved Roman remains, including this vast amphitheatre. Welcome to Nimes, France. Rather than looking back, though, today, we're taking a peek into the future. Welcome to the Nimes Archery Tournament, and in this first session, we're focused on the Under-21 medal matches. Well, Happy New Year to you all, and welcome to our first live coverage of 2022. I'm Karim Bashir here in Nimes, France, and joining me is John Knott from Archery GB. Well, John, we're in France. Paris is the destination for the next Olympic Games, and the French are having a blinder.
Yeah, it's been a really strong showing here this weekend from the French athletes so far. What a fantastic opportunity to compete on home soil with home athletes behind them, getting a real flavour with Paris just around the corner.
Yeah, short cycle this time for well-documented reasons. But we are starting this coverage, this live coverage in 2022 with a look, as I said, into the future. We're looking into the crystal ball. John, how important is looking at the results at youth level? And just to be specific, we're talking about athletes who are in the under-21 category.
Yeah, it's always good to see the future with what athletes are coming through. And you find a lot of athletes who triumph in this famous Nimes arena do go on to have incredible careers.
Yeah, they certainly do. And what an experience for them. I mean, I can't remember going down as low as a junior level on a live coverage like this. So not only are they getting the opportunity to shoot in a fantastic, well-dressed venue, but they're actually getting live coverage, perhaps for the first time in their careers.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same setup as they have for the senior athletes in the afternoon. This is priceless experience for these under-21 athletes, especially the French ones. There's a good French showing today. And as I said, a huge chance for them to be noticed by the French setup, if they're not already in it, to have a go at making the Paris team.
Yeah, noticed by the French setup and noticed by us. Now, it's been up and down, of course, for this tournament. The travel restrictions have played their part on the number of competitors that have been there, but it's a very good showing with a very strong field. No crowd in the venue here today, though, as I said, for obvious reasons. And a short Olympic cycle, John. No time for rest this time round.
No, it's going to be interesting to see how, particularly the seniors in the afternoon, come out. Have they had a cheeky break in the 6 months they've had since the Olympics? But then the World Championships were so shortly after the Olympics as well. So, do people go on to Paris with no break? Is that big risk? We're going to find out in the next year or two, Krim. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well when you look at the youth element. Well, usually in a post-Olympic year, we start to see certain athletes take a little bit of break, as you say, which allows for the younger athletes to start emerging from the shadows of their senior counterparts. No such luck for either sets of parties here this time around, with Paris just 3 years away. Now, we see some movement in the venue. We'll have to wait for some house lights to come up before the introductions, but it looks like we are ready to get going. So here we are, presentation of the two athletes for our first live coverage of 2022. It's the compound women's bronze in the youth division here at the Nimes Archery Tournament. Andrea Munoz of Spain, led out by France's very own Oceane Halner. Compound women's bronze on the way. So, John, we start with the compound women's bronze medal match, and what a lineup we have here.
Yeah, both these athletes are 19 years old. They're both experienced youth internationals on the European Youth Cup circuit. Both athletes also competed in the World Youth Championships last year. So again, great chance for these two athletes to show what they can do in the big show. Out here, as you can see, Karim is already a bit of an athlete crowd in there watching as well.
Time to get underway. Our first action of 2022 sees Andrea Munoz shooting for the compound women's youth bronze in Nimes. Solid start into the center, alternating through the 3 arrows each archer will shoot. And we're looking at an accumulative score.
Great start from Munoz. She's found her center. She's really calm out there. And same for her opponent.
Just a slightly longer hold for a 29, so first drop points, but a good start from the Spaniard. Well, the opportunity was there, not quite taken, but a great start from the pair of them, 29 apiece. As I say, accumulative scores here for the athletes, but nothing between them. The athlete from Rennes there, Ocean Halner, leveling up with Munoz.
They both look really calm out there in this, as I said, the big arena, very intimidating. Halner looked a little more nervous to me than Munoz, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes in this second end.
Yeah, just retrieving the arrows, the agents at the moment as Halner and Munoz get a chance to speak with the coaches. Munoz looking fairly relaxed. A bit of a longer hold on her third arrow, John.
Yeah, it was a little, she was probably trying to secure that perfect score. Sometimes you do things like that. You just try a little bit harder, which is the last thing you actually want to do.
And for those that perhaps new to archery, we talked about a cumulative score, and we talk about the set and the end system. It's an end system here for these compound archers. What is the total one can score in an individual match?
So they'll be shooting 15 arrows in 5 ends of 3. Total score 150.
Just 1 point dropped so far by both the archers, looking very calm here under the lights and in front of the cameras in Nimes. It's time for end number 2 here in this bronze medal match.
The judges awarded Halner 28, so she'll lead off on the second end. Really good, important 10 there from Munoz after having 2 misses, maintaining her 1-point lead.
That's dropped low, though. And capitalised by Munoz there. 58 plays 55. As you spotted, John, the first arrow in the first end for Ocean Halna was marked down to a 9, which meant that she shot first, and she has dropped the ball somewhat early on. Chance to recover, though, in compound.
Yeah, there's always a chance to recover in compound because the 10 on that target is really small, as you can see. It's half the size of the recurve 10 for 18 meters, obviously. And those arrows can just start missing, and it's very easy for an opponent to get back in. But Munoz looked really composed on her second arrow at that end, which I thought was a big, big arrow on those 3.
Certainly was. Good start from Munoz here. The nerves with the home favourite, Ocean Halna, trailing by 3. Subject, of course, to the judge ratifying the scores. Munoz there, able to afford a smile as we prepare for end number 3, and it's Ocean Halna of France to shoot first. Good shot. She needs to start eking back into this. 1 point at a time will be enough through the final lens to narrow the gap. Munoz is very dialed into the centre.
Good shooting from Halna there. She needs all these arrows to be in the 10. Needs to keep dialing the pressure in on Munoz.
Looks like she's got her first perfect. We have to wait for that to be ratified, of course. A question mark over Munoz's second arrow. Did it clip the line for the 10? Well, that one certainly is in the 10. So provisionally, both of them on a 30 here. John, your thoughts?
Well, that was really impressive, wasn't it? They, after a nervy-looking second 3 from both of them, Halna came back with what she really needed, a 30 points. Munoz, cool as anything, just kept taking it away from Halna, going, no, yeah, I'm not giving you anything back. And number 4, always the big one in compound, I feel. So we'll see if they can carry on this pace.
The telling smile of an archer who knows that they've hit the center of the target with a good shot. There's a little bit of telltale tension in the front arm of Halna there. Just a little wobble before releasing the final arrow.
Munoz had a right classing smile, didn't she then?
She certainly did. Halna, though, still trailing. Confident third end. She'll start the 4th, still 3 behind. That's all she can do. Put down a big score to put her opponent under pressure. A little bit of a longer hold from Munoz, but still in the 10 and looking very solid.
Not so good there from Halna. She was just starting to build a real good run. But so far, Munoz is giving away nothing. And Halna's one loose arrow on her second end is really punishing her so far.
.29 is a great score, but is it enough? That looks like a 9 as well. Just a slightly longer hold again. So drops.
Yeah, that 29 there for both athletes. But as I said, the brutality of the compound match is 15 arrows for score. And just that second set of 3 arrows from Helena at the moment is the difference in this match. And Munoz is just keeping up that pace. It's very important for Helena that Munoz doesn't get the benefit of the liner on a second arrow here, or it'll be a 4-point lead with 3 arrows to go.
John, you talked about the how much of an indicator as to the future of these athletes this youth event in Nimes can be. Incredible setup for them here. Temperament is a key thing in this sport. Munoz looks like she's got bags of it.
Yeah, she looks really confident out there, doesn't she? In a big stage like this, really not, when you don't look phased, you don't look out of place, that is always a sign of someone who's really in control of their game, and definitely worth keeping a lookout for. This is a great bronze medal match to start off this session, I think.
Certainly is a great match. Trailing by 3 going into the final end. It's Océane Helena of France on home soil in Nimes. Can she fight her way back to the podium? On the line, little adjustment from Munoz as well. First time we've seen that in the match.
Helena keeps asking questions of Munoz. She keeps finding that center, but so far Munoz has had the answer every time.
Quicker release straight into the 9. I think that first one is going to be a 10 here, so I think there's still a bit of breathing room for Helena. And she gets another perfect, her second of the match. That's all she could do, as you said, John. Longer hold again, straight into the center. I think that's enough. I think that is enough. I think she's going to finish on a 146, Munoz. John, you're the expert.
Well, that looks good to me. I agree. I think she'll get the first one as well. 146 out here. That is a fantastic score. Brilliant shooting. Helena, 1 loose arrow, as I said, on that second end. Costa, she kept asking questions of Munoz. She kept putting the 10s in, but Munoz just kept catching those lines, and there was nothing that Helena could do to get back.
Well, when you look back on this match, I think if you're Océane Helena, you'll just say, oh, look, it's just really that one end that really caused the problem. She performed really well out here, but confirmation that Andrea Munoz of Spain, the 19-year-old, has taken the compound women's bronze in the youth division here at the Nimes Archery Tournament. What a start, John. What a start.
Brilliant. What a setup. Let's hope that sets the tempo for the matches all day. Really high scoring there, so we've got a lot more great athletes to come out.
Well, the lights go down, the house lights that is, go down here in Nimes in this exhibition centre for these medal matches in the youth division of the Nimes Archery Tournament. We're taking a look at the future stars of the sport here. What a wonderful opportunity and what a great way to start our live coverage in 2022. The coaches making their way out to the shooting line. I know that you could be watching anywhere in the world. It could be any time. But here in Nimes, it's very early in the morning. A big start for these young archers, just after 9 o'clock. So we switch over to the presentation for our second medal match here in Nîmes. And it's Ashbrink of Slovenia going up against Leonardo Costantino of Italy for the compound men's bronze medal match. So we're sticking with the compound division here, and we move over to the youth men's bronze medal match. Ashbrink of Slovenia going up against Leonardo Costantino of Italy. We're going to get straight underway to find out who will be on the podium in the compound men's division. Ashbrink of Slovenia to get us underway. Saita just makes a little bit of an adjustment. And a good start for the Italian.
So Brink, first two arrows, looking a bit nervous, hasn't quite found his middle yet. Costantino there, just dipping a bit low underneath the 10.
Oh, has that clipped the line? Provisionally down for a 27. For a 29, it looks like he's got it as well, Costantino, and a cracking start for the Italian here.
Two very experienced youth athletes here, Karim. Obviously, Brink is the world under-21 champion. He won that title last year in Poland. His opponent, Costantino from Italy, picked up a medal as well at the European Field Championships in Croatia last September. So these guys are both really experienced. They both know how to win medals. But that was a really nervy looking start for me from both of them out there then. They were, obviously they don't want to go home empty-handed from this match.
Yeah, arguably the hardest match in sport, isn't it? The bronze medal playoff.
It really is, because you don't want to go home losing two in a row, and you don't want to go home with no extra luggage.
Well, confirmation that Brink is going to shoot first in the second end. We need a confirmation of those scores. It looked like 3 9s, but perhaps one of them was clipping the line. The very first one, possibly. Just wait for confirmation on that. Is it 30 plays 27 or 30 plays 28? Whichever way, sorry, 29 I should say, plays 28 or 27. Either way, it will be Costantino with the lead. Start of the second. Brink trailing by 1. Still not found the center of the target. No change to the sight there, so one suspects that Brink will feel that was a badly executed shot rather than anything else. Going right for the Italian.
That's better from Brink. I think that was a big sigh of relief from him and the crowd there, finding the middle. Dipping low again for Costantino. Neither of these athletes yet look settled in this setting. They look really tense, really nervous.
Pressure down from Brink with his third arrow. Despite the nerves, he shot a 29. And a response from Costantino means this match is all square. John, nerves absolutely pounding out there.
I can feel the atmosphere coming through the screen here at me, Karim. It's tense, isn't it? They just look edgy. They don't look settled. You can see how they're holding their release aids. Everything looks really nervy, and I think they're feeling it off each other.
Certainly
Need
are.
to settle down and find their rhythm.
Good for us, though. The match is all square at 57 apiece. Both athletes dropping 3 points over the first two ends. Ashbrink of Slovenia up against Leonardo Costantino of Italy for compound men's youth bronze here in Nimes. One of just two ranking tournaments, especially when we look at the seniors going ahead of the finals in Las Vegas coming up next month. Already world titles up for grabs in the archery year.
We'll go back to the original shooting order as it is all square. So Brink will be leading off on end number 3. I think one of them needs to really step up and show what they're made this end.
End number 3 in the compound men's bronze medal match. Ashbrink of Slovenia will shoot first with the scores all tied at 57 apiece. Still not dialed in, especially on that bottom left-hand target. A bit of extra movement there from Costantino all the way through to the release. Also shooting a 9.
Settling down. That's just under. As I said, Karim, that 10 ring can really get small in these compound matches, and those arrows that are just out really hurt. Brink there with a really important 10, I feel.
Pressure down now on Costantino. Needs a 10 to keep this all level. And he's dropped it low for another 9, a 27. His lowest score so far for an 84, plays 85. Those nerves, John, are still very palpable.
Their shot timing is inconsistent, as you've noticed yourself. There's movements all over the place. They're just, it's that first, those first 3 arrows, if you come in and you find your center, you're set for the match, as we saw earlier. But these guys, they came out, they're just missing, and it's just like a pressure cooker on a pair of them. Every little miss just makes it even harder to get that next one right sometimes.
So it's so
There's
important
a lot of head
now.
shaking going on.
Yeah, but it's so important right now that this conversation here that we're watching, usually between athlete and coach, it looks like it's 2 athletes talking to each other there. It's one of his teammates there, Leonardo Costantino, and same for Brink. This conversation is what, about calming the nerves rather than talking about technique?
I think it's just telling them to believe in their process. Yeah, go out there, do your process, and the result happens, rather than thinking about the result. if you're stood there thinking, I must shoot a 10, I must shoot a 10, your process is out the window, and that's when it just all starts falling down around you.
Differences on the sides of the shooting line, a little bit more serious on the Italian side. A little smile from Brink afforded just before going into the fourth, and it's really no criticism or assessment other than whatever works for you, works for you. We do see the Italian smile. We go into, as John Knott says, the all-important fourth end. Well, you saw the look on Leonardo Costantino's face there. A long hold, again, a lot of movement at full draw. Opportunity for Brink. He's taken it. Lead opens up to 2 points.
That's 5 nines in a row now for Costantino. Brink now has a chance to really put this out of reach, but no. He needed that. He really needed that.
What can Brink do, though? Can he maintain that 2-point lead?
That was his nicest shot of the match.
We have got a measure on the second arrow from the Italian, and the confident look from Brink finally coming across his face.
Yeah. That was like you'd just put the guy down for a count, wasn't it, on that one? He bit of relax in there. But you still don't know going into this final end if Costantino can catch the first one. Brink will start thinking, so 2 points, 1 point, I don't think anything's going to be enough for the way neither of them have settled into this match.
Yeah, the shot was brilliant, as you say, from Brink. The last one, well executed, the best shot of the match, but then he gets a big break while we wait for things to reset for the fifth end. So perhaps the break has come at the right time for the Italian. 2 points in this compound men's youth bronze medal match here in Nimes. And it's Aliash Brink of Slovenia leading by 2 with just 3 hours per archer to go. Leonardo Costantino of Italy with the orange cap there will shoot first going into the fifth and final end. His job is to put down a big score to put his Slovenian opponent under pressure. Time for end number 5. Well, door opened again. A 10 here will all but seal this one for Brink. Another confident shot.
Brink's shot has suddenly changed, hasn't it? It's become so much more confident. Much better shot there, but now Brink has air. He just needs one of these two and it's safe.
Oh, he wasn't happy with that one though, was he?
No, he rushed that one.
Finishes with a 10, but potentially going for a measure. So 1-4-1, but a beautiful finish. Another 29 from Ashbrink. Nervy start from the pair of them, but Brink has done this and has taken bronze here in Nimes.
Well, Karim, there's winning beautiful and there's winning ugly. I think Brink won. I'm not going to say it's going to be his greatest match of his shot, but the world junior champion dug in deep and found a way to win that bronze medal.
Yeah, nervy encounter from the pair of them. Ashbrink and Leonardo Costantino getting off with their 27s in the first three, a pair of 27s, one for each of them. But Brink was the one that came good in end number 4 and carried that through to the 5th end to seal out his first gong of the year and his first podium. Ashbrink of Slovenia has taken bronze here in Nimes. We take a look back at the match between Brink and Costantino for the compound men's bronze medal. John, it was a nervy encounter from the pair of them.
Yeah, neither of them came in and found the 10 on the first 3 arrows, really. And that just put them both on edge for the rest of the match. Their shot timing was all over the place. They were never really getting good hold off their bows, as you could see. And loads of just little misses. It just keeps in turning that pressure screw. Towards the end, Brink just found a few decent shots, and that saw him over the line over his opponent.
We prepare for the third of 8 matches in this first session of World Archery's coverage in 2022 here in Nimes. We're going through the youth division medal matches, and we turn our attention back to the women. So time to have a look at the Recurve women's bronze medal match, an all-French affair between Anna Jakasic and Audrey Machinet, both from home country, the host country, France.
The Jakasic is one of our youngest competitors today. She's only 16 years old. She's the number 13 seed as well, so she's done really well to get through to this stage, the young athlete. Her opponent, Marchant, 19, the number 6 seed, so they've both fought well in their matches. So this is what we were saying, big chance for home athletes on home soil to make an impact.
Time to shoot for the Recurve women's bronze medal here in Nimes. Anna Jakasic to get us underway. So that was Machinet getting us underway with a 10. Jakasic here also into the 10. And you can see the skinnier arrows, John.
Yeah, recurve archers tend to stick to what they use the same all year round. They've got a much bigger 10 ring to hit up there, and they tend to flip between outdoors and indoors as well.
Oh, that's a quick arrow. The score's going down, if anything, here. Opportunity. 9 will do it for Jakasic.
That'll do. So we've switched to sets now, obviously. So they're trying to win 3 sets. 3 arrows is a set, and you'll get 2 points for winning that. First to 6 sets points will win the match. So matches can be much quicker. But Anna there with a 27 over her opponent's 26.
Yeah, so you just got to beat your opponent over the 3 arrows to get the set points. If you are all square after 3 arrows, the set points will be shared between the athletes. And as John pointed out, 6 points for the bronze medal. And, well, nervy start, or is this what we should expect in a recurve, indoor recurve match, especially at youth level when you're going for a medal?
Well, they both came out with 2 of the most perfect arrows I've ever seen. But then, in the blink of an eye, there were 4 more arrows in the target. That was really quick. So I think they shot very quick through nerves, to be honest.
Set number 2. Audrey Machenet, trailing by 2 set points, will shoot first. Very quick release, John.
Very quick releases. Machenet looks very nervous to me, but her arrows are going in the 10, so I'm not complaining.
Perfect score there. She's going to have leveled up here for sure. And these ones
all square,
flying all over the shop, aren't they? It's a very strange first 2 sets there. Jakisic and Machenet coming out for the first, not shooting their best, but Jakisic getting those first 2 set points. Any indication there in the second, though, John, that Machenet has settled in?
Well, Machenet's shooting that quick. The camera's struggling to keep up with her, aren't they? I think she looks really nervous. You can see her shaking. I'd love to see the end of her long rod. But when you shoot 30 points, you know, who am I criticising in any way, shape or form?
Yeah, it's certainly been very, very sharp. And notice the transition from the end of the draw through to releasing the arrow. Very, very quick indeed. Is that nerves?
I think it is a fair bit of nerves, but her process, if that is her process, she is sticking to it. She obviously, you know, doesn't shoot over a draw length, and she's making that length, and they're gone.
2 apiece here in the recurve women's bronze medal match. Machenet here will start us off again for set number 3. Just clipping the
More
10.
settled. Wow. That to me looked like it was too quick. If you saw the reaction on her face as well, she didn't expect that to go when it did, but she got a 9. And then our youngest competitor here at 16, really nice looking form for me.
So 28 for Machenet. Can be matched with a 10. Can Jakisic do it here? Not quite. Not quite. Another 27. So all of a sudden, a 2-point deficit has turned into a 2-point lead, and Audrey Machenet of France is leading 4-2 in the recurve women's bronze medal match in the youth division here in Nimes.
I think there might be a judge decision on Jasnik's arrow on face number 1. It looked like a 9 to me. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets it.
Well, that will be interesting, won't it, if they turn this one around for 2:28. Currently a 27, plays a 28. And I think you're right. I think that has been marked up, John. Good spot. And just like that, 4-2 turns into 3-3.
Yeah, and she really deserves it as well. I know that's weird to say, but her shots that look really good. She can really compose. As I said, she's the youngest competitor we've got out here in this session. And the more sets they both get out here, is the better for both of them.
Well, it's all about composure and temperament, and what a challenge this is for Audrey Machenet. She thought she was 4-2 up, and on a measure, it's gone back down to 3-3. She's got to do it all again. It's time for set number 4. And that is the reaction. It's marked as a 9, but I think we need to keep a close eye on that one as well. That's a definite 9 for the 16-year-old.
Not sure if that's just caught the line or not. There's a lot of shadows going on up there. They're both looking a bit more composed now, and they've settled into their shot timings a lot better.
So, potential provisional 27 for Machenet. Oh, is she feeling the pressure? She does clip the 10. I think she knew that was a critical shot there. She gets a 28, but look, let's not count our chickens just yet. That second arrow from Machenet may well get marked up to a 10. John, predictions?
Well, big. It's so much shadow over it, as I said when she shot it. I don't know. I'm not as confident as I was on the last set.
Well, it's definitely going to a measure, that's for sure. It's going for a
Yeah.
measure. We can see them down at the targets there, having a good old look at that.
This is a really big call.
Massive, but a really big shot, the third one for Anna Jakasic as well. She knew she was under pressure there. She knew a 10 would really, well, potentially give her the lead, but if not, be crucial to stay level. And she was able to land
absolutely.
it.
She was holding long. The shakes were starting to set in, and she dug really deep, and she dug out and found the 10 when it was really needed. I'm guessing from that reaction, she's got a line call. So
yeah, Machenet's on the 28 as well. So 4 apiece as we go into the 5th and final set here for the Recurve Women's Bronze. Is this one going to go down to a tiebreaker? If it's all square after this, it will be 1 arrow to decide the medal. Audrey Machenet on target number 2 will shoot first. 3 arrows for bronze here in Nimes. Little bit of movement there from Anna Jakasic.
That was a huge shot there from Audrey. 20 points out of 2 so possible. And she matched it. 1 point game, 1 arrow left each.
Door open. A 29 for Machenet. Jakasic needs a 10. She managed it last time. She's gone into the 9 this time, and this may have turned around in the very last set. Looks like a 28 for Jakasic, a 29 for Machenet. We do, of course, have to wait for the target judge to confirm that. But John, in the meantime?
Well, that was as exciting as it can get, wasn't it? Obviously, Machenet came out with 2 huge 10s. Jakasic needed a 10 on the last arrow for the shoot-off, and she gave it everything, and it was really close. But Machenet's last shot, that could have gone anywhere. She was very relieved to see that in the yellow.
And there we go. Confirmation there that Audrey Machinet of France has beaten her compatriot for the recurve women's bronze medal here in Nimes and will be on the podium a little later on today. Well, great showing from the pair of them there. Jakasic at 16 years old, able to make the medal matches but not convert. It was Audrey Machinet of France picking up the recurve women's bronze here in Nimes. But here, Anna Jakasic showing that she's got the stones to make it through to the latter stages of competition throughout her career. Just 16 years old, finishing 4th in Nimes. Machinet taking bronze. Time now to turn our attention to the recurve bronze medal match. Janash of Slovenia on the left, going up against James Stefans of the Netherlands. Well, Stefans trying to look relaxed and composed. If anything, it's making him look even more nervous. Conversely, on the left-hand side, Janash looks keen, ready to go, pretty relaxed. Just out for a Sunday morning shoot, the Slovenian. Here we go. Well, time for the recurve men's bronze medal match. Janash of Slovenia up against James Stefans of the Netherlands, and John Knott is here with me in the commentary box. Nervous and relaxed?
Well, both these athletes 19 years old. Stefans the number 10 seed, so he's worked his way through the bracket to get into these medal stages. And Janash, also 19, the number 4 seed, so he's got to where he's been expected to get to.
Time for the recurve bronze medal match here in Nimes in the youth division, and it's Janash of Slovenia to get us underway with a 9.
Wow. Front arm did some weird things then, as you can see, and the result was a 7. I'm seeing a bit of nerves in both these athletes at the moment, but Stefans manages to find the 10 on that second arrow.
A 25 for Janash, 7 being sandwiched by 2 9s, and despite the tension from the Dutch archer, he finishes with a 28 and takes the first 2 set points. Not convincing by either of the athletes here. Very, very nervous, perhaps the most nervous we've seen of all the archers so far today, John.
Yeah, they really are. They're maybe it's their first time in this kind of arena with the TV cameras. Maybe they've had no experience of a big crowd. A lot of that comes into what previous experience you've had. You know, Stefans is the number 10 seed, so he's excelled himself by getting through to this stage. I don't know. I don't think either of them have ever shot youth cups from what I could see earlier either.
Yeah, it's so important now. Yeah, it certainly is, and it's so important now. The holistic approach that coaches and federations take to youth training. So we get a look at James Stefans' hair furniture, I'm going to call that.
He's got a good look there.
Whatever floats your boat, John Knott, whatever floats your boat. The score here sees Stefans, though, leading 2-0 against Janash. Nervy starts from the pair of them, but as I was alluding to, looking at a holistic approach, these two athletes can be forgiven for the nervousness. It's part of the learning experience on the way to potential elite success at senior level. Set number 2, Janash from Slovenia, will get us underway.
Just looking a little snatchy in his shots at the moment. Much better there. Much more flow on that shot.
So pressure down now for Stefans. He needs to get a 10 to share the set points. Oh, there's lots of jitters and shakes, John, at full draw for him. But again, he's managed to, well, this time just drop a single point for a 29.
Yeah, they're both looking tense, but they're now starting to find the centre. So end number 3, I'm hoping we see what they really can do now and they relax into the match.
You can see that front stabilizer rocking around all over the place. It's a miracle. I mean, it's a shorter distance, of course, but it's amazing that it's finding the 9s and the 10s.
Absolutely, I agree. I was quite shocked at a few of those results then, but when they're going in, you can't complain. Good looking.
Just waiting for the. Yeah, I was just about to say, took the words out of my mouth, Mr. Knott. They're just waiting for the agents to collect the arrows, and that conversation going on between athlete and coach. There is the long-locked James Stefans of Netherlands. He's found himself 3-1 up in this bronze medal match, so it'll be Time Janash of Slovenia, the 19-year-old, to get us underway again. Got to fight his way back into this by putting down some big scores. What's that? Clip the line. That's a close one. It's marked as a 10 on our scoreboard. Matched by Stefans.
Not so strong on that shot there from Janash. Stefans starting to look a bit more confident to me now, and those hours and hours and hours you do on the training ranges are paying off.
He's making another little adjustment, the second one of this set. Janash, though, needs a big score. It's another 9. Big opportunity here for Stefans to get the pressure off almost completely. A 10 will take him 5-1 up. Pops it into the 9 for a 28, so matches Janash. It's another set where the points are shared, but Stefans is notionally just 1 set away from the victory here, leading by 4 points to 2.
I think Stefans knew he had a massive opportunity on that last arrow. If you saw, after a couple of clean-looking shots, His third arrow then did not look as clean to me. I think he was thinking more about the outcome than the process of the actual shot.
We've talked about this, alluded to it before. The temperament of these archers is perhaps the biggest thing they can gain here in terms of the experience under the big lights with cameras pointing at them, perhaps for the very first time. It's learning to deal with that and cope with it and manage your expectations in a tougher environment. And you can only really get that experience by being here and actually having those cameras pointing at you.
Absolutely. And it's a very intimate arena down there, but it's also a very big space with a lot of lights going on. And when you're down there on that floor, I can't describe how quick it passes by. That is the strange, you know, it's a 20-minute match, but it's gone in 2 heartbeats when you're actually down there, and you'll be like, wow, did that really happen, kind of thing.
Time for set number 4 here in the Recurve men's bronze medal match. Timur Janash of Slovenia will shoot first. Clip the 10 ring. Loads of movement again. How is he hitting the 10 here?
His final execution must be just really clean.
Another
he did not like
shot.
that. Yeah. Door is open now for Stefans.
Better, but a 28 again can be topped. This for bronze. 10 required. Pops it into the 9 for the 3rd time in a row. The set points are shared. 5 points to 3 now as we clear the 4th set. Of course, we wait for confirmation of the scores. That 10 first arrow from Timur Janash potentially could get marked down. It is on a measure.
It was a
marked
10.
as a 9. Yeah, I agree
it
with you,
was a
John.
10. It was a 10. Yeah. I think, well, we'll wait for the confirmation, but I think, again, Stefans knew that door was wide open and he just doesn't want to go through it, does he?
But the critical thing here is that he's Timur Janash is not he's not closing the gap. He's only able to sort of tread water and stay 2 points behind. So if the same thing happens again, it's kind of a war of attrition, isn't it, for James Stefans? He's just got to see this through in 5.
Yeah, what I've noticed is with Janash is his arrows are really good 10s or they're far away. Even his 9s are far away, where Stefans has been like peppering around that 10 but not quite catching them.
Time for the critical 5th set here in the Youth Recurve men's bronze medal match. James Stefans of Netherlands leading 5-3 over Timur Janash of Slovenia here, shooting first. What he needs to put some pressure down. A lot of movement again. Now, there is a single point lead for Janash.
Oh no, he didn't need that again. They're good or they're bad. There's just been nothing okay for him. But didn't take the advantage.
Didn't. This is a critical arrow though, a 10 for a 28. So a 10 required from Stefans for the bronze medal here in the Recurve men's youth discipline. And he's popped it into the 9 for a 27. By my count, that means we will be all square on 5 set points each after the 5th and final regulation set. We do wait for confirmation of the scores from the target, but I didn't see anything there that looked like it would be changed in terms of score, John.
No, absolutely, that's what it is. What a strange match. Yeras, so many mistakes, but so many 10s, yeah? Stefans just kept shooting steady 9s all the way, so...
When you say steady, he's jumping all over the place. There's loads of movement, but somehow he found in the center of the target. And we're saying in between the 4th and 5th that the thing is that Stefans is staying in there and he's just trudging through. But Yeras was treading water, not able to take advantage. And in the end, 2 10s in that final set has forced a draw. 5 apiece. So we have our first tiebreaker. The first tiebreak of the live coverage from World Archery in 2022. And it's for the Recurve men's bronze medal match in the youth division of the Nimes archery tournament. Time Jeras of Slovenia has fought his way back against James Stefans of the Netherlands. And the pair of them will shoot 1 arrow to decide who will be on the podium. They'll be cleaning the targets. Well, and I say cleaning the targets, they're putting brand new target faces onto the targets. So if we go to a measure, it's very clean. The nerves are palpable. This for a bronze here in Nîmes. Janash versus Stefans. 1 arrow to decide the medal. Out wide, down and low to the right. Big opportunity here. He's only hit 9s and 10s. And he's put it into the 10. James Stefans of the Netherlands had to battle his way through a tough and nervy match against Time Jeras of Slovenia, but the Dutchman has secured the bronze medal in a tiebreaker here in Nîmes.
Well, he really ground that result out, didn't he?
That's a good way of putting it, John.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It was an incredible
worked.
battle, wasn't it? It was an incredible battle right the way through, but the movement on the full draw for James Stefans was incredible. Still hitting 9s and 10s throughout, and as you pointed out, it was either good or not so good from Jeras. Nothing in the middle.
Well, yeah, Jeras shot pretty much all 9s and 10s. Sorry, 10s and 8s, and he had a 7 in the opening set as well. Where Stefans just kept his arrows in the yellow, and at the end of the day, that's why he ended up walking away with the 3rd place. And his good luck bear.
Fabulous excitement there. The shooting perhaps from Jeras, not what he would normally expect, but the nerves ultimately getting the better of him. Stefans was not without nerves himself, but able to hit the center of the target more regularly. And the Dutchman has taken bronze here in Nîmes. You see the movement on these replays. The movement is incredible from Stefans, but it was enough for bronze.
We had 4 very exciting bronze medal matches there. I think that was for an early morning session, I feel a bit spoiled.
Time now to turn our attention to the gold medal matches, and we start with the Under-21 compound women's gold between Denmark's Natasha Stutz and another French archer, Candice Cadrenet, on the right. Start of the learning experience for these two archers, being presented to the crowd and to our live audience here on World Archery's live coverage. Natasha Stutz of Denmark being led out by Candice Cadrenet of France. The first gold medals of the year decided here in Nimes in France, Sud de France Nimes Archery Tournament. It will be the Under-21 compound women's gold. To be decided, the judge on the shooting line ready to get us underway.
Both these athletes, 18 years old. Stutz is very highly experienced. She's a cadet world silver medalist. She shot on the World Cup circuit. She's the number 5 seed here today. Her opponent is the number 2 seed, only has youth experience.
Time to find out who is going to get the first gold medal of 2022. Candice Cadrenet starts us off with a lovely 10. Going up against Natasha Stutz of Denmark, pulling it left into the 9. No changes, no adjustments to the bow though, just yet.
So Cadrelet really has found her centre and looking very confident.
Can't do better than that. So dialing into the centre eventually, Natasha Stutz, but what a start from Candice Cadrenet from France, John. She has opened up a 2-point lead already.
Well, she stood out there like she owned the place, didn't she? Her form looked brilliant. There were no shakes. Her shot timing was great. Stutz did not look confident. She didn't look good. But the guy stood next to her. If there's anyone who can sort out her brain and get her into this match, it's Martin Damsbo.
That's incredible that Damsbo is out there in Nîmes. Apart from perhaps he's been shooting in the senior event, which has been going on over the last couple of days.
Yeah, he shot brilliant. He was like number 4 in qualifying. But he does do a lot of coaching with the Danish team.
You're listening to the dulcet tones of John Knott there from GB Archery, who's giving us her expert opinion here in Nîmes. Time for end number 2 here in the compound women's gold medal match. Stutz of Denmark trailing by 2. Close one, that.
Stutz needs to find that 10 soon, or her opponent's just going to race away here the way she's shooting. First miss there.
Looks like a potential 10, that third one, marked as a 9. And that one looks like it's just about clipped the line. Now, I'm not 100% convinced the first arrow from Candice Cadrenet was a 10, John. The shadows you were talking about, perhaps playing their tricks on me. Do you think it was a 9 or a 10?
I think that was good. I think she definitely had a 10 on that first arrow. Just pulled the line.
Well, the Danes' last arrow marked for a measure here. She 9-9-10'd in the first end. Is she going to 9-9-10 in the second? At those first and third arrows marked for a measure from Cadrenet as well here. So the target judge has a little bit of work to do here, measuring 3 arrows to get our confirmed scores. At the moment, it's provisionally a 59 for Cadrenet. The question is it a 57 or a 56 for Stutz? 10-9-9 marked for Cadrenet. So that's a strange one. The last arrow being marked as a 9 there by the looks of things. It was originally marked as an 8, so a 28 for Cadrenet. If I'm reading that right.
No, 29.
Well, like Candice Cadrenet, we wait with bated breath for confirmation of the scores. Looks like we're ready to go. Into the third, it's a 59, plays 56 in the end, so a 3-point deficit for Natasha Stutz, who'll shoot first in the third.
Starting to settle down and find what she needs in this match. That one's just sitting under, so that's 2 points back so far now for Stutz.
So best score so far in the third for Stutz, a 29. And looks like a 28 for Cadrenet, again subject to confirmation. But that potentially puts us on 88 versus 87, if I'm right here. We look on and we wait for the target judge to confirm the scores. Damsbo having a good chat with Stutz there. And the French coach also passing on his wisdom here. What will the coaches be saying here, John?
They're just going to be, they'll probably know what the athlete likes to hear and likes to be reminded of. Some athletes don't want to talk about the actual process. Some want to be reminded of it. So it's really important that whoever you're with out there is, you know what they want and what they like to hear and what's going to help. This isn't the time to be starting to actually coach people. You're out there more as a guide and a supporter.
We'll wait for the scores to come back in, but I think there has been a markup for Cadrenet here. And I think we're going to go into this fourth set with the score deficit being exactly the same for Stutz, 3 points. Wait for that to pop up onto our screens. Time for set number 4. Stutz trailing by 3. Needs to close the gap up in this fourth set. Pops it into the 9. So another opportunity for the French archer to open the score here.
Stutz just missing out there. Doesn't look settled on the line still. Cadrenet really looking to cement this win now.
27's opened the door for a big lead here. A comforting blanket. Another 10 for a 29. And a 5-point lead going into the final end here is a massive swing for Cadrenet. John, she held on to that second shot for an awfully long time. There were a couple of movements, both shoulders and arms, but Cadrenet still able to pop it into the 10.
Absolutely. When she actually got the release aid to break and go off, her sight must have been right over the middle of the compound bow. The arrows tend to go where the dot is aiming, as they say. So she's got that dot right on the middle when the release aid breaks. Whereas Stutz still is looking unsettled, inconsistent on what she's doing, and it's just her body language. She doesn't look confident.
As you said earlier on, who better to have in the box than the very experienced Martin Damsbo talking to Natasha Stutz. Elise Cadrenet looking very much at home in this tournament, very confident. Getting perhaps her first experience of being under the big lights and being in front of the cameras. French archer on home soil, leading by 5 going into the 5th. Natasha Stutz of Denmark. Target number 1 will shoot first.
Still not managing to keep a run of 10s going, Stutz, and without that, there's no way back for her.
Yeah, especially with shots like that from Cadrenet. Silver medal beckons with that 28 to finish and a 140. And a 10 for Cadrenet. She marched away with this in the 4th, and she has gone on to take the gold medal, the first of 2022 here in Nimes. Candice Cadrenet taking it 146 to 140 for the compound women's gold medal in the youth division here in Nimes. Well, a case of Natasha Stutz there not really dialing into the centre quick enough, John.
Absolutely. I don't really think at any point she really found her centre either. She only had one end that was better than 28 points, and that was on the third with the 29. And still then, Cadrenet gave up nothing. To be honest, Cadrenet just bullied away to victory in that match and didn't give Stutz anything.
Yeah, that's the thing, a tale of two archers there. Natasha Stutz struggling to get into the centre. Candice Cadrenet looking composed and confident, building up the lead from the beginning, and then just seeing it through. Biggest gap being made in the fourth end. Cadrenet taking the first gold medal of 2022 on the international archery circuit, beating Natasha Stutz 146 to 140.
C'est toi qui me dis quand on y va. Candice, félicitations. Tu viens de gagner cette finale chez les moins de 21 ans. Comment tu te sens?
Je suis très heureuse et le stress redescend un peu parce que c'est la première fois en arène que je fais dans une compétition internationale et c'est vrai qu'il y a beaucoup de stress, mais je suis très heureuse.
D'accord. Et du coup, tu as commencé avec un 30. Est-ce que ça t'a permis justement de te déstresser un petit peu et de garder cet avantage que tu as creusé tout au long du match?
Pas forcément, j'étais stressée tout au long du match, mais je pense que c'est ce qui m'a permis aussi de performer comme je l'ai fait.
D'accord. Est-ce que ça t'a aidé également d'avoir dans ce contexte-là tous les archers français qui sont derrière toi, qui t'encourageaient?
Ah bah c'est vrai que oui, le fait d'être encouragée, ça motive encore plus et ça permet de donner le meilleur de nous-mêmes.
Eh ben, merci beaucoup, félicitations.
Merci beaucoup, merci.
How's your French, John?
Not very good, but I imagine she was happy.
I think I got that she had to keep her composure. I think she was saying she had to keep her cool, and she's happy that she managed to do that. Was what I could grab from that. A solid performance from her.
Absolutely. As I said, she came out, she started, perfect score, and then just maintained it all the way.
Brilliant stuff from Candice Cadrenet, taking the first gold of the live coverage here from World Archery in 2022. Much, much more to come. 3 more gold medal matches in this session as the coaches come out. We await the archers for our second gold medal match here in Nimes. You are watching World Archery's live coverage of the Sud de France Nimes Archery Tournament, and we're focused in this session on the under-21 category. We turn our attention to the men's division. Well, the athletes line up here now for this compound men's gold medal match. Tim Jevšnik of Slovenia on target number 1, going up against the French archer here, Victor Below, and he gets a massive cheer from the crowd here in Nimes at the Sud de France Nimes Archery Tournament. Time to go for gold here, and it will be Below on target number 2 to shoot first.
Below there, finding his middle on his second arrow. Yesnik still not quite got his center. Needs to settle down and find it fast.
Maybe 10, says the French stadium announcer. So marked as a 29 for Below. Bang in the centre of the target for Yevsnik. John, you said he was looking for it. I think he's found it.
That was a perfect donut there to finish that first 3 arrows. Obviously, we're on total score now of shooting 15 arrows for a maximum of 150.
Well, the Frenchman Victor Below in the black t-shirt just closest to us, here he is, looking up at the big screen, so composed he actually checked his hair in the big screen. Well, that's a man who's relaxed.
That's what it's there for.
Tim Yevsnik here from Slovenia, not getting off to the best start. 2 9s though, not too bad. Finds the centre of the target with his third. First and third arrows being measured for Victor Below. Provisionally marked as a 9 and a 10. So potentially he could be on a 28 or a 30 here. Currently marked as a 29. Little words between the coach and the athlete there. Now, what has that been measured as?
I expected to be a 29. I thought his first one was out.
You know what? I think it may well have been marked up. Controversy in the commentary box here. John not disagreeing with me. He is, of course, the expert. He thinks it's 29 playing 28. I think the Frenchman's potentially been marked up to a 30 here. We'll find out very shortly. Either way, Below leading. Yevsnik here, trailing by 1 or 2 potentially. Time for end number 2 here in Nimes, France. And it is Victor Below of France leading by 2. Tim Yevsnik will shoot first. Well, he was right in the middle of the target with his third arrow of the first, and he's carried that into the second. And notionally has closed the gap by 1 here.
Not as steady there from Yesnik. His first shot absolutely perfect. Second one not quite so good.
.29 finish for Yevsnik for a 57. 2-9 so far from Below. Make that 3 for a 27 for him. And just like that, we're all square at 57 apiece. I didn't see anything in particular there that would urge a change in score from the target judge, but we do always have to wait for confirmation. John Yeznik here, plumbing 2 beautiful shots into the centre of the target, but that second shot you highlighted.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as clean as his other 2, but when he's getting it right, as you saw, his arrows are dead centre, and I think he's really going to come on strong now. He's looking really good.
Still looking relaxed though, Victor Below dropped 3 points in the second, having been marked up to a perfect score in the first, which was a bit of a surprise to the pair of us. But it took him 30-28 up after the first, all square now for Yeznik. And you have to say that third arrow in the first could prove to be the turning point for Yeznik. Starting to look very composed himself. Ready to go for end number 3. And it will be the Frenchman to shoot first. He does need those arrows, though. All square. The Frenchman vying for gold here in Nimes.
Below's looking very tense in his front hand. And if that gets any more tension in there, that will start moving his arrows out of that little 10. Yes, Nick, I really like the way he's shooting.
Well, second perfect for Below, despite the tension in that front hand. Well, something we need to keep an eye on. Well, does look like a 29. The stadium announcer was suggesting the first arrow from Yeznik may well go to a measure. I don't see that, so I think the provisional scoreline that we had up there very briefly in the top left-hand corner was correct, and that showed that Victor Below was on 87 and Tim Yeznik was on 86. So we're seeing a stronger process from the Slovenians, from Yeznik. You're seeing a little bit of tension, John, in Victor Below's front hand, and yet Below has managed to push himself back into the lead.
Absolutely. Yeznik's form, for me, is really good. His shots are really aggressive, and he really gets on. Below's got more of a softer-looking shot. There's bits of tension in there, so he gets his 30s when he gets it right. But if his form's a little bit off, you saw in the second end, he came down from a 30 to a 27, sorts it back out. So he needs to be really careful that he gets his form very right.
Well, we're ready for the fourth end here. The home crowd, I'm calling it a crowd in inverted commas, it's made up of the delegations that are here competing rather than a traditional audience in this 4,000-seater arena that's usually packed out for these events. It is Below leading, so Yeznik to shoot first. Back to the solid shots and a little nod of self-affirmation there from Yeznik. That's into a previous hole, marked as a 9, but could well get marked up on a measure.
Just watch the bow hand of Below here. It's kind of the guide to where his arrows are going.
Oh, chances there to open things up potentially. But at the moment, provisionally marked as 2:28 in that fourth. But I think there's a couple of arrows in there that will go to measures, John.
Yeah, that's Judge's nightmare up there right now. Below's first arrow, one of Yeznik's second arrow as well. Absolutely, that Judge is going to probably put some fresh faces up, I imagine.
Will they do that if it's so crowded in certain areas on the face between the fourth and the fifth ends?
Yeah, if the line is not clean and they cannot call it, they will replace the taste target face, even if it's one end to go.
Well, there you go. So Yeznik here potentially could be trailing by 2, or if the score goes right for him, he could be leading by 1. Up and down.
I think they're both going down.
Well, we shall wait and see how this one pans out. A very big call from the judge here in the fourth. Looks like it is 10-9-9 and 9-10-9, although the cheer from the crowd may suggest something else. I think it's a 28 plays 28, as does John. We go into the fifth. Yeznik to shoot first, trailing by 1.
That's good. Nice looking arrows there from Yeznik. Will Below put another arrow out to the right, or will he keep his center?
Oh, that is close, isn't it? That gone slightly low as well. A 1-4-2 is the mark for Yeznik at the moment. Well, I'm very hesitant to call this one, John. Very hesitant indeed. At the moment, the provisional score shows Victor Below of France holding on to that 1-point lead and therefore taking the compound men's gold. But your thoughts?
I'm predicting that's a shoot-off. I think Yeznik's getting a 29, possibly a 30. Below's second arrow, we know, was definitely out. And it went right as I predicted.
So we think it's a 28 for Below, a 10-9-9.
No, 29.
A 29, so it would require a 30 from Yeznik then to draw things level and force the shoot off. They wait like we do, the magnifying glass is out. 10-9-9 on target number 2, that is a 28.
Yeah.
So a 143.
Oh.
A cheer from the other side. It looks like it's a 144 for Yeznik. Has he turned this round with a perfect 30 in the final end? Below can't believe it. But look at the body language and the celebration. Tim Yeznik of Slovenia has turned it round with a perfect 30. He was threatening it throughout. He brought it when it was most needed in the fifth end and has stolen this one, 144 to 143. Tim Yeznik of Slovenia is the youth champion of the Nimes archery tournament. Well, what a cheer from the supporters here in France. Victor Below led from the third through the fourth, but got overturned in the fifth by a strong Slovenian Tim Yeznik. What a performance, John.
Absolutely, Jesnik's strong attacking, consistent form really paid off there in that fifth end under the highest pressure. Below, he was really good, but he was very passive in his shot, and that front hand just kept twitching arrows to the right. You could see it, particularly in the second end. The warning signs were there that if Jesnik put him under pressure, he would crack him, and he did.
Yeah, well called, John. I mean, that was a really these little details is why you're here to see that front hand. As soon as you started indicating that might be a problem, we all started looking at it, and in the end, it did turn around.
Tim,
Let's go and
congratulations.
speak
You just
to
won
Tim.
your match. You are the gold medalist for the Under-21 Kumpul men. How do you feel?
I would say I really feel amazing because going to this competition was a challenge, and whole way here I was just thinking that I have to make it work, and I can only say that I was really comfortable in the match, that I felt great, I had a lot of fun, and I would say that that got me a medal.
But the match was very tight. You began with 2 points behind, then you came back to equalize, and it all came to the last arrows. Nothing is never lost. How did you make it?
I would say that first I didn't blame myself because I knew that I had shot 2 amazing shots, but the problem was in my side, so I adjusted the side, and I would say that after it worked out great.
Okay, great. And in this context, you were against a French archer, but you're used to be here in Nimes.
Yeah.
Were you really confident? How did it feel this year in Nimes?
I've never been in Nimes on the stage, so this was, I would say, a year goal, and just being here is an amazing feeling, and really I'm happy for it.
Okay, congratulations again, Tim, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff there from Tim Jesnik of Slovenia. We take a look back at the match. He's taken the Under-21 compound men's gold here in Nimes at the Sud de France Archery Tournament. John, he mentioned sort of making changes on the fly. He said the issues with the sight. Can you just go into a little bit more?
Maybe he just wasn't, the lighting is so different in there. Maybe his sight picture was wrong and he just had to improvise on the fly, but it paid off.
Certainly did. Tim Jesnik of Slovenia taking the second gold medal here of 2022. We turn our attention now to the women's recurve gold medal match. So presentation of the athletes to the audience here and to you at home. A recurve women's gold medal match between Kinty Ruffen of the Netherlands, who is being led out by our first Swiss athlete here in the lineup in session number 1 today, Liliana Licari. John, what a matchup.
Yep, this is going to be a really interesting match, a sets match. You're never out of it. It doesn't matter if you start slow with recurve because you can always find your way back into it.
We switch back to the recurve discipline here in Nimes. Kinty Ruffen will shoot on target number 1, and she will shoot first, going up against Liliana Licari of Switzerland on target number 2. 15 arrows to decide, potentially, who is going to be the gold medalist here, but you can do recurve in 3 sets. Kinty Ruffen to start.
Both athletes just getting used to the feeling and the lighting in this arena.
First 10 of the match. But Likari here could be in for the first 2 set points with a 10 herself, and she does indeed get that and leads 2-0 after the first set. Well, they did take their time to get their iron, didn't they, John?
Yeah, as I said before, the lighting in here is very different from where you warm up, and a lot of people do struggle on their first few arrows to adjust to the different light, particularly with the recurve bows. You have to see the string on the inside of the bow for your string alignment for most people, and that really does make a difference. So it's how quick you adjust to these changes can give you an advantage in this match.
Getting a good view of the interaction between the Italian coach and athlete, sorry, Swiss coach and athlete. Is it me, or is there a look of Korean there? The hat with the sunglasses sitting on the top reminds me of someone. Set number 2. Recurve Women's Gold up for grabs. That is not a great start from Kinti Ruffen, though.
That's better from the number 1 seed. She still looks unsettled to me and hasn't found her process yet. Where Likari from Switzerland is looking very calm in her Korean team hat.
Another 27, but again, points available here for Likari. Big wobble, but it looks like it's definitely, well, it's definitely going to be a 9. It could be a 10. I think it's marked as a 10. She goes 4 set points to 0 up. Not the most convincing final shot, though, John.
Well, it looked like she was losing control of that shot, but she had the strength to maintain and finish her process. And big reward, hug there from her coach when she got away with that 10.
Yeah, those emotions, the reactions are absolutely superb, aren't they? Oh, got away with that one. It says everything in a split second. Conversely, on the other side of the shooting line, Kinti Ruffen, well, she struck 2 10s in a row at the end of that second set, but she needs to be pummeling them into the 10 to put some pressure on her Swiss opponent, trailing by 4 set points to 2. Time for set number 3. Kinti Ruffen of the Netherlands with work to do here. She's definitely on the podium, guaranteed a silver here. But she'll want to turn this one around and get some points on the board.
Ruffen is just not finding her way in this match, and she's really in danger of losing this 6-0 now.
Finishes with a 10 for another 27. That's 3 in a row. But this for the win and perhaps the most confident display so far here in Nimes. It's into the 10, a perfect 30 for Liliana Licari of Switzerland. What a performance from her. She's taken the Recurve Women's gold here in the under-21 category in Nimes at the Sud de France Archery Tournament. 6 set points to 0. And she looks like she has a very bright future ahead of her. John, I mentioned hints of a Korean look, hat and sunglasses et al. With that kind of performance, that's a Korean style performance.
Absolutely. Well, she has the World Archery Centre Korean coach stood there with her, so she obviously trains at that venue. And the hard work that she's putting off training with a coach of that level for a performance like that in a final, took down the #1 seed, no trouble, no messing.
Superb stuff from Liliana Licari of Switzerland. Hasn't got far to venture home, and the smile says it all. What a performance in the final. 6 set points to 0 victory over Kinty Ruffen from the Netherlands, who was seeded #1 coming into the knockout stages. Consummate professional, though, the Swiss athlete, taking gold here in Nimes. One more to go here in session #1. Well, looking back on that, John, solid performance there from Licari. There was the phew, I got away with that one shot.
No, absolutely. That's where hard work and hard training really pays off, to perform at that level in that arena.
Liliana, félicitations, tu viens de gagner cette médaille d'or. Comment tu te sens juste après ce match?
Je ne sais pas comment décrire les sensations. Je tremble énormément, mais c'est un bon tremblement, donc je suis vraiment contente. Je me suis dit, je vais tirer sans regret, et puis c'est ce que j'ai réussi à faire, donc je suis vraiment contente.
Le match a été rapide, 6-0. Tu étais contre la première des qualifications, toi tu étais juste derrière sur ces phases-là. Comment tu t'es sentie en plus en finissant avec ce beau 30?
C'était vraiment... Je ne m'attendais pas à finir avec un 30 parce que je tremblais tellement, mais c'était vraiment bien. Et puis on s'était déjà vu au championnat du monde de jeunesse, où elle m'avait battu avec un shoot-off, quelques millimètres, mais c'était vraiment cool de pouvoir se revoir et avoir un peu un rematch. Et puis je suis contente, maintenant on est un peu à égalité, donc je m'attends d'avoir plus de beaux matchs dans le futur avec elle.
C'est super, c'est super. Et du coup c'était ta première fois ici à Nimes, et donc en plus dans ces arènes-là. Comment tu as vécu cette première expérience?
Dès que je suis entrée, je sentais que c'était différent. Il y a tellement plus de gens, il y a plus de son, les lumières, tout est tellement différent. Et puis j'ai vraiment senti que c'est quelque chose d'autre, c'est un autre niveau. Et je me suis dit que ce week-end, c'était une bonne expérience pour le futur. Et que même si je perdais, si j'étais dernière, au moins j'avais appris quelque chose. Donc c'était vraiment une bonne chose pour moi.
Super, je suis contente pour toi, félicitations et merci encore.
Well, there we go. My French isn't perfect, but she was talking about the speed of the match and how quick it was, which was good for her to be able to keep her concentration. She was also talking about the experience that John and I have alluded to, different experience performing under these circumstances, the big lights and the cameras on you. But what a performance. Surely we're going to see more of her in the future, John.
Absolutely. Switzerland could have a future senior star there. Can she take this weekend's experience of performing in the big stage and move forward with it?
Can she indeed? Something that we will have to wait and find out, but it certainly looks good for her. Liliana Licari taking the last gold here for the women. Now we turn our attention to the last gold medal match of this session for the men. We've got more coming up later on today. More on that later. So here we go, the Recurve men's gold medal match for the under-21 category here in the Nimes archery tournament. Daniel Medveki of Slovakia being led out by Tony Rodroj of Spain. These two shooting in the set system for the final under-21 gold medal up for grabs here at the first live international archery tournament of 2022. Well, John, lots of conversation going on between the archers and their coaches. What do you say about this match?
Well, both these athletes are actually 16 years old. So for the under-21 discipline, that's very young, yeah? So what a fantastic experience for two young athletes who would be under 18s at World Archery level to gain serious experience for their future.
So two 16-year-olds competing for the Recurve men's gold medal match. No fear here on the shooting line. Tony Rodroj to get us underway. We're both going into the top target and pulling low and left.
Bit of a weak looking release there from Rodroj, who is the number 3 seed in this match.
So not a bad 28 from Medveki. And another. Well, they potentially marked this a 29. I think that's a 28, John.
I agree.
Yeah, so two set points shared between them, one apiece. There was mention that the second arrow for Rodroj might have been into the 10, but on sight it looks like a 9. Is it me, or the lights got a little low on the targets?
They did look very dark there, didn't they? And the shadows looked very different from where earlier on in the day. So maybe somebody wanted to charge their phone up and pulled the plug out.
Yeah, oh, they need to put a couple of euros into the meter. But would that be an indication or some reason why those first two arrows from the first arrows from both archers went low and left?
It's just the change in light. The practice room for this finals arena is out the back, and it's very orange and normal lights everywhere. You come out here under these very white spotlights. It's hot. You feel hotter. And you know, there's cameras pointing at you, and you tense. People tense up, and once you start tensing, your muscles change. And what seemed like a perfectly good sighted in bow before is now not.
Well, unless my eyes deceive me, the set points in that first set went to Medveki. 29-28 in the end. Second set. Rodroj starts with a 10 and needs it. Needs to put the pressure down after the markup for Medveki here in the first. Both archers dialed into the center though.
Little bit long on the second shot there for Rodroj, but his form looks superb.
29. Potentially could be beaten here with another 10. Oh, wow. Out into the 8. Well, whatever happens here, the set points are going to be level. Marked as a 29. I think that second arrow may well get marked up for a 10 for the Slovakian, but won't necessarily, well, it definitely won't be enough for a 29 for Roj. 2 apiece, John.
Absolutely. Roj, the left-hander, his form looks really tight, really neat, yeah? Where Medveki's form isn't quite as nice, and on his last arrow there, you could clearly see that his release hand came away from his face, yeah? And that caused his arrow to go out into the red, and it was crucial. 2-all.
Crucial indeed. Last of the under-21 matches here at the Nimes Archery Tournament, and we are all square. We're getting bang for our buck in the first live session here of 2022. Final gold medal in this first session being decided right before your very eyes. Daniel Medveki of Slovakia going up against Tony Roj of Spain, both 16 years old. Roj to shoot first in the third set. Both looking fairly clear 9s to start.
The solid form of Roj is now really starting to pay off. He's found his centre. He looks composed. Not as clean from Medveki. He needs to keep his shots nice and tight, or he's going to start dropping behind fast.
There's an opportunity, though. There is a big opportunity. At 27, a 10 would have got him the points. A 9 gets a share of the points, and 3 apiece. Now, John, you're looking at the solid performance from Roj, and then drops 1 arrow into an 8. Now, for me, Medveki's head went down after his second arrow into the 9. He looked like, oh, crikey. And he very quickly picked himself up to score another 9 and almost forgot about the fact that a 10 would have given him the points. Finely balanced still.
Always the sign of a good shooter is if they do put a bad arrow in, the next arrow, if it goes in the middle, that's always a sign.
And the replay operator showing us that second arrow, and the reaction from Medveki really was disappointed, but did turn it around, did secure a share of the points in the third, is still level despite Roj, the number 3 seed, perhaps shooting a little bit more closely to his process. Three apiece here in Nimes. Recurve men's gold medal match for the under-21 category being contested between Daniel Medveki of Slovakia and Tony Roj of Spain. The Spanish archer will shoot first with the scores all level. Oof, that was a solid shot. That was a quick action, both through the draw and the release. A little pull there from Medveki.
Roj putting that one dropped arrow behind him, following through with 2 solid 10s. For me, that's the mark of a great shooter. But a strong comeback from Medveki as well. Much cleaner shot.
Big arrow here. Oh, just saw a little wobble there, but it's into the 10 for a perfect. That can't be matched, and the Spaniard will go 5-3 up after 4. Important arrow here for Medveki, though. Puts it into the 10 to get a 29. That will give him some confidence, keep him stabilized. There's a little bit of mystery going on there. Not sure what happened with that first arrow, I think it was, for Medveki.
Medveki just needs to keep his release tighter. As I said, it's his tension and his strength on the final millimetre of the shot. Where Rod, he looks really strong. You saw in his last arrow, he did have a bit of a wobble, but had the strength to control the bow, control the shot, and that comes from a lot of training.
Love to hear what's being said between coach and Daniel Medveki. There's a little mystery over that first arrow of the 4th set. Neither quite sure why it ended up in the 9 by the looks of things. We go into the 5th, a 5-3 lead for Rod. So it will be the Slovakian Medveki to shoot first, shooting to keep himself in the match. Ooh. Low and right. Another potentially drop shot from Rod.
Good comeback there from Medveki. Just reminding Rod he's still here. Nervy looking 10 there.
Chance to put some pressure down with a big score here. Puts it right into the 10. A good shot from him for a 29. A 10 for the gold medal. It's into the 9. That's a 28. And that's the points to Daniel Medveki, and 5-5 after 5 regulation sets here in the Recurve men's under-21 gold medal match. Daniel Medveki has drawn level, the Slovakian 5 apiece with Tony Rod of Spain. And yes, we're going to have another shoot-off. Well, despite the disappointment that you can see clearly painted on the face of Daniel Medveki, he's got himself into a shoot-off here. This is down to 1 arrow. This is anyone's gold medal here in Nimes.
Medveki is a real fighter in his approach. He's a good attacking shooter. When he gets it right, they're really in the middle, but he's got to watch his process, because if his release is slightly weak, he will get a wider arrow. Where Rod is more consistent in his form and his technique. When he does get a bit nervous, he tenses up, a bit long on the shot, and he tends just to miss.
Okay. The faces are being replaced on the target, so we've got clean faces in case there's a measure. The acting coach in the Slovakian box is enjoying the music being pumped out in the venue here. Anything to keep the tension down ahead of this nervy shoot-off. What a conclusion to the first live session here of 2022 for World Archery. A shoot-off to decide the Recurve men's gold medal in the under-21 category here in Nimes between Medveki and Rod. Slovakia versus Spain for gold. 1 arrow to decide. High 9. Chance big, big chance for the battler from Slovakia. It's into the 10. What a performance from the 16-year-old Daniel Medveki from Slovakia. He had to fight his way through that match, going down to the Spaniard, who's also 16 years old, in the 4th set. Managed to claw his way back to a tiebreaker and then pops it into the 10 for gold here in Nimes. Well, he really did dig deep, didn't he, John?
What a huge win there from the number 9 seed from the ranking round. Yeah, Rod shot his 1 arrow shoot off much quicker than he had been shooting all that in the previous part of the match. Arrow just out high. Medveki kept his process clean, kept his release clean, won absolutely inside out in that 10 ring. Very proud.
Great moment there in the tiebreaker. He had to battle his way through a number of drop shots. He showed his emotion throughout, and in the end, forced the tiebreak. And the pressure became too much for the Spaniard. Pops it into the 9, not a bad shot, but Medveki, the Slovakian, managed to nail it into the center of the target. Just his 7th 10 of the match. But it's about shooting the 10s at the right time. Well, he shot so well throughout, did Rod, but in the end, the tiebreaker went with the Slovakian. Gold for that man here in Nimes. And let's go and have a word with Daniel Medveki.
Daniel, congratulations. You just won the Recurve Men Under-21 gold medal in Nimes. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's a great, bit stressed, shaking, because yeah, it's my first time, but really glad that I made the shoot off.
Yes, it was a tight match. You managed to come back, and the last arrow for the shoot-off. How did you manage it?
We're talking with my coach about some problems I had in the first sets, but then the last arrow I put it perfectly, or I think perfectly, and that's what I should have done.
Okay, so you're really happy for this first time in Nimes. How did you leave the event?
Sorry?
How did you feel for this event?
It
it's the
was
first
great.
time?
It's my second biggest tournament, which I was on, so it was new experience, and to win, yeah, great.
Okay, so you're 16 years old. We hope for you that you will have many great results in the future also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations again. Thank you very much.
Brilliant stuff there from Daniel Medveki. Hey, just 16 years old from Slovakia, has to fight his way through the Nimes tournament, has to battle his way through a final with Tony Rod. And then, hey, let's have a conversation in a language that is not your own. What a brilliant performance from him, John.
Absolutely. What an absolute battler, as I said. You know, didn't have the tidiest of forms, but when it really mattered on a couple of big key shots, his attitude and his strength saw him through that. And when Rods dropped that one key arrow at the end of the 3rd set, he was back in. That, you know, it was turning, and Medveki just said no and stood right back up. Load of 10s to finish, forced the shoot off. Boom.
Fabulous stuff, and fabulous stuff from you as well, John Knott. Thank you very much for your insight. That is it from our first session here today. The under-21s is settled. Compound women's gold going to Candice Cadrenet of France. The compound men's gold going to Tim Jevnešnik of Slovenia. And the recurve women's gold going to Kinty Ruffen of the Netherlands. Recurve men's gold to Daniel Medveki of Slovakia. That's it from us for session number 1. Join us in a couple of hours as we turn our attention to the seniors here at the Nimes Archery Tournament.